friends, and welcome to the start of a new reading vlog. I'm just organising the books that I would like to read in this reading vlog. I just gotta find them. Fuck, where did I put them? Oh, right in front of my face. That's 1, 2. I think I need another hand for the other one. How have you been? What's been going on? Talk to me. I've been really excited to do this vlog, and I will explain to you what it is and the books that I would like to read in it. Hey friends, welcome back. Again, we're in my mother's room because she's in a meeting and she has the best light. So today I wanted to start episode 2 of reading my most anticipated releases for 2023. If you don't know, earlier this year I put out a video just talking about some of the books that I'm super excited to read for 2023, that come out in 2023 I should say. And a few months ago, I did episode 1 where I read, I think it was The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi, God Killer, and something else. Was it no, it wasn't Electra. Oh, what book was it? Anyway, I'll put it up the top and I'll link it down below. I had a lot of fun reading those books, and I've always had planned to do episode 2 and just like continue doing this as a series throughout the year to like get through as much of my most anticipated releases as possible, because obviously I'm excited for them for a reason. And so all the books that I'm going to share with you today were on that list. This is like a TBR for this vlog, but also a possibility, like possibly what I will be reading this vlog, sorry, because one of them is ginormous and I don't know if I'll have time to read it this month. So anyway, let's just like talk about them because I'm really excited. So the first one I actually started reading already, so I'll talk to you about that later, but it's The Secret Service of Tea and Treason by India Holton. This is book 3 in the Dangerous Damsels series. This series is truly ridiculous and silly, and it doesn't take itself seriously. It is set in, is it Victorian England? When I say Victorian, there's pirates and witches and magic and flying houses, and there's a romance. India Holton writes the sexual tension between characters so well, like and the writing is so beautiful, and it is also equally hilarious. And honestly, like, it's a romp. Like, that word perfectly encapsulates the experience of reading these books. And I'm reading this, as you know, right now. It is perfect. It is just literally what I wanted. Oh my god. And like the literary references and like allusions to various classic authors, which for these characters it's technically like their contemporaries, but I love this series, and so I'm so happy that I'm reading the 3rd book in the series. I think this is the last book actually in the Dangerous Damsels. Oh my god, so exciting, and it's so beautiful, and it's about Alice and Daniel Bixby. They both are introduced in like earlier novels in the series, and they're both spies. So you meet Alice when she's a maid and Daniel when he's like a butler, and they're both actually spies. This is not spoilers, it's in the blurb. And they actually work for the same organization, and they have to go on a mission together and be fake married. So it's just, you know that I eat this up, okay? They're like rival spies and they're working together, but they've both been super like fascinated with each other since they were younger. And then like Daniel saw Alice in the last book and he was immediately smitten. Like, it's just so good. It's so good, and I'm so excited to finish this. Oh, it's wonderful. Anyway, the next book I would like to read for this vlog is obviously Atalanta by Jennifer Saint. I've actually been waiting to read this purely so I can read it for this vlog, because I knew I was wanting to do this vlog. It was planned. This is the author of Ariadne and Electra. Both books I gave 5 stars because I love them dearly, and Atalanta is about the titular character. She is the daughter born to King of Arcadia, and she only brings disappointment. I believe that because she's a daughter, the king and queen, left exposed on a mountainside, the defenseless infant Atalanta is left to the mercy of a passing mother bear and raised alongside the cubs under the protective eye of the goddess Artemis. I know, and she joins the Argonauts and things happen. I just can't wait, because the last line of this blurb is, but can she carve out her own place in the legends in a world made for men? I ate this up. I have a lot of high hopes for this because obviously my experience with Jennifer Saint is exceptional and wonderful. So I'm terrified, but I've also heard only great things. And honestly, I just want to have a good time. I just want to have a good time. And I think I'm going to have a good time with Atalanta. And then kind of similar genre of mythology retellings, I should say, Greek myth retellings, we have Clytemnestra by Constanza Casati. This I've been dying for since I saw, like, how did I know about this book? Did I see it on Goodreads somewhere? I don't know. I've always really been excited because I read Electra and Clytemnestra was my favorite character in that. And so when I found out that an entire book about her and about her story was coming out on top of that so quickly. So this is about Clytemnestra, who is the mother of Electra and the sister of Helen of Troy. And she has a very interesting position in the myth. She's not pushed aside. I think she's positioned as like this monster, this murderer, when she was that and more, but also why? Like, and Electra and this book, I'm guessing, really goes into the why and really brings a story to voice her own story. Like, she's able to narrate her own story. Obviously, you know, creative license or whatever, but it is a myth. So I like myth retellings because I feel like it adds to the myth. I don't know, it's just like this really fun collective thing that we all do, you know, throughout history, is we're just like adding to myths. Like, this is just fun. I don't know. But the blurb is written in second person, which is very interesting. So it's like, you are born to a king and marry a tyrant, which is very true. You stand helplessly as he sacrifices your child to placate the gods. Like, she has a reason. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like she's just sitting there like, I'm gonna be a bad bitch. No, there's a reason why she does what she does, you know? You watch him wage war on a foreign shore and comfort yourself with violent thoughts of your own. Oh my God, I'm already so into this. You play the part, fooling enemies who deny you justice. Slowly you plot. You are Clytemnestra. But when the husband who owns you returns in triumph, what then? I really like when, especially in like myth retellings, but also just in like fiction overall, because historically women use men's perceptions of them to their advantage, especially in situations where it can be very challenging to know the reaction of the man, like especially in violent and abusive situations. And I think it was it, I think my friend Hannah, who I talk about all the time, her research actually talks about this in women in the 1950s who were part of like anti-nuclear protests. They would use the perception that men had that they were weak and unintelligent to really play that part and get away with the, you know, doing what they were actually doing. So I like when fiction conveys this very real thing that women use as a tool in their arsenal to like get through life. especially when waging, not war, but like going against patriarchal oppression. Very excited for this. I don't think I made sense at all, but do you understand, like, that's the vibe that I really enjoy. So clytemnestra. And then the last one, which is the one where I'm a bit hesitant to say that I'm definitely going to be reading for this vlog because it's ginormous. It's A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. This is the prequel to The Priory of the Orange Tree, which I absolutely loved. Gave it 5 stars. One of my favorite fantasies of all time. So this is the prequel. It occurs a few hundred years before the Priory, or is it like 10? I don't know. I'll find out. But actually it goes back to the world of the Priory of the Orange Tree, showing us a course of events that shaped it for the generations to come. So I'm guessing it's pretty far back in time. To be back in this world, I'm very excited. When this book was announced, I honestly thought it was going to be the sequel that happens 10 years later. If you've read The Priory of the Orange Tree, you know what I'm talking about. I thought that was what it was going to be, but I'm still very happy that it's this. I think we have more information about the Priory and the sisters of the Priory, so that is high on my list to read. But again, I'm not going to pressure myself to read this nearly 900 mammoth for this reading vlog because I don't know if I'll have time, but I will definitely have time to read the other 3. Who knows, maybe I'll read absolutely everything and it'll be very successful. But oh, I'm really excited. So I'm going to go and finish reading The Secret Service of Tea and Treason because I've started it, as you all know, and I've nearly finished it. So I'll give you all of my thoughts and feelings. Just know that it's 5 stars. It's absolutely fantastic. So I just finished The Secret Service of Tea and Treason, which I will talk about in a moment, but now it's time to choose our next book. So I'm thinking either Atalanta or Clytemnestra, because if I do end up actually reading A Day of Fallen Night, I can do A Day of Fallen Night in between the 2 retellings. Does that make sense? Cool. So, what do I want? I feel like y'all know what I want, and it's her. I think I'm gonna read this one. I have been reading Atalanta for the past day. It took me a while to start it. I'm not gonna lie, I've been playing Spiritfarer a lot. I'm doing my hair, if you can't tell, because it's like so much shorter than I usually do. I'm like learning how to put it up in a ponytail. Anyway, I'm just over halfway through Atalanta. If you hear background noises, not only is my washing machine on, my dryer is on, and my mum is in a meeting. a lot of noises happening, but Atalanta, just over halfway through. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it, but I've been sitting here trying to figure out, like, specifically why I'm not loving it to the extent of Ariadne and Electra. And I honestly can't tell you as of yet. Maybe at the end, when I finish reading this book, I will know specifically what it is for me that I'm just not fully in love with this, because Jennifer Saint is now like one of my favorite authors, regardless of if this is not a 5-star. Like, she's just an author that I really enjoy like reading. She's kind of a comfort to me. I know that I'm going to at least have a good time, and I am having that with Atalanta. Like, please don't get me wrong, I am. And I really like Atalanta as a character, and the Argonauts are interesting, and I like that in certain situations Atalanta confronts them with their own like selfishness and violence towards women. It's a great book, really enjoying it, but not loving it. Is it because Atalanta is with Meleager? So she meets this man who's part of the Argonauts. I'm pretty sure his name's Meleager. The fucking washing machine is going to take off like a rocket, I swear to God. But she gets with Meleager, and I'm just like, okay, we all know what's going to happen. I don't know the myth of Atalanta, but I'm having a feeling that Artemis is going to find out and then like turn her into an animal, because that's what she does. So like, we know that the fact that she has a relationship with a man is going to be her downfall. And is that making me depressed? I don't know. I feel like with Ariadne and Electra, the stories were so propulsive and like badass and just like so intense and wonderful. And I guess you could say maybe with Atalanta we're seeing a different side of like the opposite of what we see in Electra, and slightly the opposite of what we see in Ariadne, about this woman who just maybe falls in love, and because of that her actions are overshadowed by the fact that she decided to go with a man, and that's how she's been able to be pushed aside. Maybe that's the entire point. Maybe I answered my own question. Maybe now I've realized the point. It's still going. Still not like loving it as much as I was with Electra and Ariadne. And that's it. But I'm still really enjoying it. I still would recommend it. It's Jennifer Saint. Like, it's Jennifer Saint. You're gonna have a great time regardless. So I think I'm gonna see if I can finish this today. Today is Monday, and we'll go from there. Oh my God, it's silent now. I look so weird with no glasses on. I keep on forgetting to put my glasses on for these clips. I feel like a naked mole rat, honestly. I feel like my vibe at the moment is just like not the Jennifer Saint vibe. Like, you've seen me read Electra. Such a huge difference to how I read Electra to how I'm reading Atalanta. I mean, that's so sad. Oh my God, I started watching King the Land last night, the K-drama. I didn't know that Yuna was in it. I can't believe I forgot. I love her. She's one of my favorite actresses or actors in like K-dramas. Like, she's just great. I love her. And I started watching it last night. There's only 3 episodes out. When I tell you that I not only laughed, it was giving comedy, but it was also giving sexual tension. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And I like the fact that you have to wait a week for the episodes to come out. But I swear to fucking God, if the ending of this series is sad, heartbreaking, I'm going to sue because I just need a happy moment. I think the two actors, is it Lee Junho and Lim Yuna, they're so good together on screen. And there's Sarang. So her character's name is Sarang, and she has two really great friends whose names escape me now, but they're wonderful. And I'm finding it really interesting because, sorry, this is like a TV Netflix show rant, but I'm finding it really interesting because it's kind of like a rom-com, but it's also kind of a really bleak look at capitalism. And the lengths that women have to go to in order to be taken seriously in the workplace. I don't know if that was like a deliberate thing, but like it comes across quite loudly. And I was like, oh my god, because these three women are trying their hardest to like get by and doing like going from like the lowest of the low and having to deal with all that absolute shit. And like it just, yeah, it's intense. My mum is getting loud in her meeting. She's getting, yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop this clip here. Recommend King the Lamb, watch it so we can like rant together. I'm gonna continue reading. I'm gonna see if I can finish this today because I feel like I'm in the mood to read, so I'm gonna do that, and I will then update you when I finish, and then we can decide what book I'm gonna read next for this vlog, because we have two options and I know what I'm feeling like, but I'm intimidated. We shall see. How long do I have until the end of June? Oh my god, I have like a week. I need to read. I'm an absolute idiot. I just realized who Jason is. Like, I know who Jason is, but I didn't know who Jason was, the leader of the Argonauts. Jason, Medea, the Golden Fleece. Medea. Do you think Jennifer Saint's gonna write a retelling of Medea? I really hope she does. I read that play when I was in high school and it changed me. It changed me. I can't believe I didn't realize who... I feel like such an idiot. But anyway, just that was a realization that happened. I finished Atalanta. I actually finished it last night and it was really good. I really liked it. It wasn't my favorite Jennifer Saint. I think everything that I said in the prior clip is basically what I felt at the end. I think the last like 50 pages went really quickly, just like the ending conclusion arc to Atalanta. But at the same time, I don't know, I think it made sense for Atalanta's story and for her as a character. Except, I'm not gonna spoil it, but like, there was another man that came in the picture who was introduced in the beginning, then like he came back around, and I thought that was a bit like rushed. That's why I think it was rushed. It was just, the ending was rushed. But overall, I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I think it was interesting, it was different. I also enjoyed like a perspective on motherhood that I don't think we've necessarily seen. Oh no, kind of similar to Phaedra in Ariadne, but more commentary on how it impacted Atalanta's independence and just like how she identifies herself. So it was really good. I think Jennifer Saint is someone who will always be an author for me. My mum just came out of the office. Do you want to come past? Hi everyone. just your little face in the corner. But anyway, yes, so that's that. Finished Atalanta. It was really good, really happy with it. And I actually started the next book. I'll insert the clip of me picking it now. Excuse the mess. But I finished Atalanta. So that means we have to choose the next book. So let's put this back. Like that. Now the next one is either Clytemnestra or A Day of Fallen Night. I think we all know what I'm gonna choose. Yeah. We're gonna choose this bad boy. Look how big. Look how pretty. Oh my god, look at it. Now if you don't know, I read A Priory of the Orange Tree. Was it last year, the year before? Absolutely loved it. Absolutely incredible. One of my favorite fantasy books. So let's get into the prequel. Even Hunter's excited, aren't you, honey? Aren't you, honey? Yeah. Okay, let's get to reading. Oh, I wonder how long this is going to take me. I started reading A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. I'm like not even 100 pages in. I'm 82 pages in. Obsessed. This is so good. Already this is so good. The different characters that we have, so good. So this is hundreds of years before. Is it hundreds of years? 100 years? 50 years? I don't know. I need to re-look at Priory in order to understand the timelines. Our main perspectives are 3 women, or 3 girls. We have Demai, who is the daughter of Yonora, the maiden officiate of a temple in the land of Seiki. I will double check that's right. We have Glorian, who is the daughter of Sabran in the kingdom or the queendom of Innis. And then we have Siyu, who is the daughter of what's her name? Oh my god, Urbas. Espar, who is the daughter of Espar, in the Priory of the Orange Tree. So we have these 3 different women, and they have yet to connect, but we're kind of figuring out who they are, what's going on in their different contexts. One is obviously a princess, Glorian. We know Sabran and like the queendom of Innis from the Priory of the Orange Tree. Siyu is born in the Priory. Her mother is one of the sisters there, and she is feeling kind of like suffocated, like leashed, kind of a bit restless. She's 17, but she's labeled as immature because she's kind of grinding against the control of the prioress and like what the Priory stands for. And she represents this like growing resentment, boredom of like the younger generation who don't understand why they have to seclude themselves from the rest of the world, and like the nameless one will never come, so like why do we have to worry about this? So she's like in that. And then we have Demai, who is very interesting, and I'm not gonna say why her character is like particularly interesting at the moment because it might be a spoiler. I'm gonna read more, and if I want to spoil it, I will like tell you and let you know when it's a spoiler. But I'm just so fascinated to see how these 3 women grow. And we also kind of got a perspective of a man, but I don't know if he's going to be important or if he was just a perspective that we needed at the time. So I'll tell you later if that is the case. But I'm loving this. I think I forgot how much I love Samantha Shannon's writing. I forgot how much I love this world. So I'm reading this, and I'm hoping to get to like 100 pages today. I don't think I'm going to finish this by the end of June, but I'm going to try to get as much of the way through it this month, because it honestly, I haven't stopped reading. Like, I've just been glued to the page. Oh, and there's been some sapphic-ness, which we love. I love just how casually Samantha Shannon writes queer characters. It's incredible and it warms my heart. So yeah, I'm going to continue reading. I'm actually going to start cooking dinner because it's 4:45. I'm thinking tonight I might make rice because I don't really feel like anything else. So yeah, I'm going to do that, read, and then organise my dog's dinner. Hunter, are you hungry? Are you hungry? I think he's hungry. Let's go feed him. Has reported that the hot springs have boiled over and like harmed people. Some people have died, and it's something that's been cropping up for everyone, so something is happening. Also, I want to I mistakenly said, is this crooked? I feel like this is crooked. Am I crooked? I mistakenly said that one of the three perspectives is Siyu of the Priory. No, it's Tanuva of the Priory, who is Siyu's birth mother's partner. In the priory, like the mother-daughter relationship doesn't necessarily exist because the prioress is the mother. Or like, is the prioress the mother, or is the person who founded the priory, Cleo Lind, technically the mother? Anyway, so there's not really like a mother-daughter relationship, but there is still kind of. But anyway, yeah, so that was my mistake. Just like an update, loving it. I don't know what else to say. Absolutely fantastic. I love it so much. But I thought that while we're here, I kind of want to do something. I have my copy of the priory here. I want to know technically like how the timelines, because I'm kind of confused as to the timeline. So let's go back to this timeline. Unless it's been revised in the aftermath of this. Before the Common Era, we know that the first eruption of the Dreadmount happens and the Priory of the Orange Tree is founded. So 279, the chainmail of Virchdom is formed. Okay, so that's still the truth. I thought that was Sabran. Anyway, Sabran V, her mother Marian dies shortly. Princess Gillian is born to Sabran V. Yeah, so Gillian, yeah, is the grandmother. Marian is the mother. Princess Sabran, the future Sabran, the 6th of Innis, is born. Okay, so 465. Do we have anything? No. So there was a war, we know that. 509. So we know that 509 is when shit gets real, because that's in the Priory timeline. It says that shit gets really intense, but I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so I'm guessing Glorian's daughter eventually. Okay, so there's like hundreds of years that occurs. So something happens because it jumps from 512 to 9. Reading this makes me want to reread this. Anyway, so it's at least 400 years in between these two books. Okay, we can work with that. Well, hey friends, I've kind of blow dried my hair dry, and well, let me just fix myself up. It's gone like really buffy. I don't know if it comes across as super buff, but I swear to God, it feels very much like a triangle. Anyway, hey friends, I haven't vlogged in like a week because it took me longer than I anticipated, really, actually, to finish A Day of Fallen Night, only because I've been really busy and I just wasn't picking this up. Instead, I was not really doing anything, to be honest, but I finished A Day of Fallen Night. Okay, I loved it. I'm giving this 5 stars. I love this world, I love the characters, very easy to please. I do have to say, maybe it didn't need to be 800 pages, but I can understand why Samantha Shannon took her time to, I can't see you, so let me put my glasses back on. I understand why Samantha Shannon like took her time to develop each character, because you know, you have it's multi-perspective. You need to feel as though you're connected. Well, not even connected. You just need to feel as though you know a little bit about these characters and their personalities and how they react in certain situations. Do I kind of match? I kind of match the book. Anyway, so I understand why, but at the same time, why? Anyway, I loved it. I feel like everything that I've said about this book remains true. The only thing that I'm going to say that is a sort of criticism and just something to let you know, the reason why the worms, so like you have dragons are the like gods for certain people, for certain cultures, And then you have worms, which are not dragons, they're bad. And the only way you can really categorize the two is look at the cover. So this is a dragon. It's a serpent-like creature. It has no wings, okay? It flies based on vibes. I don't know. I think it's their, I think in the priory of the orange tree, there might have been a bit of an explanation that, or am I making this up? Like their head area does something. I don't know, but they don't have wings. Whereas worms, see here, they have wings. Worms with a Y. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's how I say it in my head. So that's the difference, okay? Worms come out of the Dreadmount. That's where the nameless one appeared and then disappeared. Well, not disappeared, he was vanquished and put back to sleep. I don't know. I don't even know if he was killed. Was he killed? I feel like I've forgotten everything. Anyway, so you have the Dreadmount. It's essentially a volcano. There is magic in this world, and something about the magic, like the fire magic, essentially, it doesn't, the way that it was explained, it was like it needs to have mini eruptions, or else if it doesn't, these worms are produced because it needs some sort of like letting go. I don't know. I'm not making sense. But that's what I mean. Like I feel like a little bit about the worms and the dragons were not really provided enough detail for me to like comfortably and confidently sit here and be like, this is what it is. The entire plot line about the worms and them coming back, first of all, is like, why did they come back? Oh, because, you know, the fire under the earth has gotten to a point where it needed to erupt and these creatures came out. Okay, but what? Like, why? And then the way that they disappear, the way that they leave, is because of a comet. They called it the long-haired star, and this star is how the dragons were created back in the day. And again, okay, sounds good, but didn't quite understand why with the coming of the comet and when the comet happened, all these creatures fell asleep, or like they were essentially put to sleep. They stopped. And again, didn't really feel like enough information was given as to why. Is it because the star and therefore the dragons have, like, their power is water and like the worms is fire, like that binary? But I don't know. I feel like I didn't quite understand. But in saying that though, it did take me a week to read this. I honestly could have read it in the beginning and I kind of forgot. So that might be also a bit of a con. It just would have, I don't know, the world building maybe. I feel like the Priory, I had a similar issue. It's very much a character driven fantasy series, which I love, character driven epic fantasy. But again, I'm just telling you everything so that you know if this is the kind of book that you would enjoy. What else did I pick up? I think that's all. In terms of my like criticism. I still get 5 stars because I loved the characters and I loved the way that Samantha Shannon writes. I also love the casual queer rep. Okay, we had like non-binary characters, we had just diverse array of sexualities. I just loved it. In that, like, the representation was amazing, and it was just done like so easily in this. Like, this is, you know, Samantha Shannon created this world where there is essentially like no real like homophobia. There's no like transphobia, because she created it. You know what I mean? She was like, yeah, two barons marrying each other, that's perfectly fine. Like, it's actually the norm. Like, I loved it. I loved that part of it. Makes me want to reread The Priory, to be honest. It really makes me want to reread The Priory. I kind of want to revisit The Priory and see if the characters in this are mentioned, or if like the lines of characters, like if there were descendants of some of these characters, I don't know. But it explains why a mage of the Priory is always with the like princess or the queen of Innis. You get that background foundation, which was really interesting and kind of beautiful. So yeah, that's A Day of Fallen Night. Really loved it. Really happy that I read it. I can't wait now to start our next book, which I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's going to be Clytemnestra. Should we go grab it? Let's go grab it, and let's put this away. Again, don't mind the mess. Okay, let's put Priory back. I mean, A Day of Fallen Night. Oh my god. Oh my god, look at that. Just wedge it in there. That's what she said. Okay, where's Clytemnestra? There it is. Da, 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 da. It's so pretty. Oh my god. I forgot how pretty it was. But look at this. Mother, monarch. Monarch. Oh my god, monarch. Mother, monarch, murderer. Magnificent. I love it already. We are going to start her today. And I'll keep you updated. I don't know what else I was going to say, but yeah, keep you updated. I'm very excited because this has been like a really great vlog. I feel like I've been having a lot of good luck, which is really good. I'm gonna make myself a tea and I might start reading now because I don't really have anything else that I want to do today. Actually, no, I do. That's a lie. But it can wait until I have my tea. I had to put my hair up because I got really hot all of a sudden after my walk with my dog. I just wanted to do a quick update because I'm like 50 pages through, 61 pages through. I'm up to part 2 of Clytemnestra. Wow. I'm really loving it. Oh my god. Everything that has already happened, the commentary on women and men within like this ancient world, like with the added aspect of like these gods and goddesses. Fascinating. This is what Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes attempted to do, but Constanza Casati is doing it better. I'm so excited. So I'm going to continue reading because I read that really quickly and hopefully it is only up from this point on. I'm kind of nervous because we all know how the story of Clytemnestra ends, so I just want to see what Constanza Casati like does to get to that point. So okay, really great first impressions. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm gonna continue reading now. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. But what I want to say is that there is a family tree. A family tree and like character list, which is just perfection. Thank you so much. And I think there's also a glossary at the end. Yeah, an ancient Greek Oh, sorry. If you hear my mum in the background, it's because she's in a meeting, so I'll see you soon. I accidentally picked it. Reading update. Let me grab it. I finished it. I finished it today, just before. I read it in a day. So that, I don't even know why I started filming, to be honest, because I'm tired. It's not even late, it's only 9:30, but this is my bedtime. I hope I didn't make you yawn. So I finished Clytemnestra. I loved it so much. I think if you watched me read Electra earlier this year, you know that Clytemnestra in that book, Electra by Jennifer Saint, she fascinated me, like completely fascinated me. I was really, what's that word? Engaged with that character and her story, and Constanza, Casati really goes there. Like she wrote, you know, like she wrote this. She gave us what we wanted. This is truly Clytemnestra's story. She is the main perspective. I think like 95% of this book is Clytemnestra. I love the way it was written. I think the writing was beautiful and simple. Like, when I say simple, I just want you to know, especially in terms of like myth retellings, when I say simple, I mean in comparison to Madeline Miller. Like when I say simple, sorry, I'm trying to find a good position. Welcome to my bed. Anyway, when I say simple but beautiful language, I am, in my head, I am comparing it to Madeline Miller. Now, Madeline Miller has incredible writing. It is writing that I adore. It is, you know, overly descriptive, very beautiful. Some may say flowery. I love that. Personal preference, love that kind of writing. But I know for others it's kind of a turn off, and maybe for others it may seem a bit inaccessible or just like harder to read. So I get that. So when I say Clytemnestra is kind of beautiful, like simple but beautiful, that's what I'm comparing it to. She really reminds me strongly of Jennifer Saint's writing, because they write quite similarly, which I love, because I love Jennifer Saint. I just, yeah, really loved the writing. I think Constanza Casati allowed Clytemnestra just to like be her own character, and this character's story is just, it's just so good. What I found really interesting is how, this is what I love about like myth retellings, is to see how different authors decide to create their story. Like, they have the same source material, but the way that they decide to utilize it, it's very interesting. So like in this book, Agamemnon is nothing but a monster, whereas I found like in Electra, Clytemnestra was kind of taken with Agamemnon's charm, whereas in this one it was like, no, he was always been a bastard, and he's always been violent and evil. So it was very interesting, and we get more of Clytemnestra's background and her story. God, I loved it. The portrayal of Electra was quite similar though, in both Jennifer Saint's book and in this one, so that was interesting. I just really loved the flow of this book. There's a few time skips, so you meet with, did I even say what this book is about other than it's about Clytemnestra? So if you don't know, Clytemnestra is the wife of Agamemnon, who is the king of Mycenae in like Greek myth, and then Agamemnon's brother, we'll call him Mel. He marries Helen, who Helen is also Clytemnestra's sister. They're sisters. Do you know who Helen also is? Helen of Troy. Yeah, she's the one that falls in love with Paris and goes to Troy. Then the Trojan War happens. So Agamemnon is the one that is essentially like the leader, supposedly, of all of the kind of Greek side of the Trojan War against Troy. So that's kind of the overall like context. So you know that's what's going to happen. But it starts off with Clytemnestra when she's a young girl growing up in Sparta, and with her sister and her brother, or sisters and brothers, with her mum Leda and her father, I can't get his name right, Tynadrius. I don't think that's right. And she's this like warrior. She's a badass. Like, she's so badass. She's so cool. She's so clever and smart. And she is like one of the best women warriors. But she's a princess, and princesses are only good for one thing, and that's marriage. So she does get married to a man. He's the king of, I want to say, I forgot the name. It starts with M. I want to say like Meronea or something. And his name is like Tartanalus. I have to double check. And they do fall in love. Like, she falls in love with him, and they have a baby, and it's really adorable. But Agamemnon is a cunt, so he's always wanted Clytemnestra, and so he conspires with her father, the king, and does things that results in Clytemnestra to be a widow, and she is essentially forced into marriage with him, and it's really fucking sad. But patience is key, as that's a constant kind of theme. It's like this idea of vengeance, but like waiting, like taking your time, and it's just really wonderful. But I do want to say that it's graphic, so trigger warnings for sexual violence, for rape, and just like overall abuse towards women, violence towards women. There's also like child abuse. I also want to say there is a death of a child, and Clytemnestra like slaps her kids, I think twice. We'll say just like 3 times. She slaps one of her children 3 times. Oh, like not one child. She slaps a few of her children. 3 of her children 3 times, I'll say. Is that what I'm going to say? I'm pretty sure. I was going to say she slaps at least 3 of her children in moments of pain, Clytemnestra, because she suppresses so much of her feelings in order to wait to seek her vengeance, but also because she has no power, really, no agency, and until her husband leaves for the war, she really doesn't have that much power or control. So I'm not condoning, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying that she does slap 3 of her kids. But I think the inclusion of that is really important because, she is ruthless, and she is a queen, you know, like I feel like there is elements of like she tries so hard not to be like the men in her life, like Agamemnon, her father, but in the end she kind of does become them, at least slightly, and that's something that she constantly acknowledges, but then says, no, I'm not like them, but she is in a few ways. It's just very, I found it to be fantastic. I know that there's separate retellings, but if you read Natalie Haynes's Stone Blind and felt really disappointed by that, I recommend picking up Clytemnestra just to see how a true feminist retelling is. Like, and also that there's heaps of other wonderful feminist retellings of myth. But like, if you want like a recent release, pick up Clytemnestra. I just think it's just done really well. It's just done really well, and I'm very excited to see what Casati does in the future. I can understand why Jennifer Saint blurbed it, because this is a book that I could see Jennifer Saint writing. Like, does that make, like, I could see her writing a book that is completely just like this, in ways she did already, but like, it just felt really cool. It's a book written for me. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. I kind of waffled on a bit longer than I anticipated. I can't believe it took me a day to read that book. I was fully expecting it to take me longer. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed now because I am tired. But once more for the book. It's fabulous. Also, can I just say, I don't like the blurb to this. I don't know how to explain, like, the blurb is written in second person. It's like, you are born to a king. You are like, it's just very, I feel like the blurb does this book a slight injustice, and I feel like that could easily turn people off from the book. Please, if you read the blurb and love it, that's great. But if you read the blurb and you're like, I don't understand, like, it, that vibe of the blurb is not the vibe of the book. Let's just say that. Okay, let's just say that. Anyway, good night, friends.